So today we're going to be doing a longer video, and I apologize in advance for doing a longer video. It's just easier if I make one video instead of two videos. It's easier to post it on YouTube. So that's what we're going to do today, and we're going to break out both pups. We're going to do initial initial training with a leash, and we're not going to get crazy about it. I'm just going to give these guys a basic introduction because you can't really get that finished retrieve until the dog reliably comes. So at the same time that I'm continuing to work on retrieving, and I'm going to show you my retrieving video here in a minute, I'm also beginning the obedience. I'm not doing hop, I'm not doing stay, I'm just doing here. And so you'll see how I start with a young pup doing here, and we're just going to do that right now. So I've got a simple, small leash, and we're going to take out one pup at a time, and they're not going to appreciate it, but that's okay. One pup gets forced to stay in the box, and the other pup is going to get the first lesson. And I like to start with my easier pup first. The easier pup first, and then we'll come back to Brixton, because Brixton, if you've been watching my series on puppy training, you'll see that you will have already seen that Brixton is kind of a handful, and that's not a bad thing. I think she's going to be a fantastic bird dog. It's just that she's got this huge amount of energy, and that just makes her more of a challenge. So we've got little Izzy out, and you can see Izzy and her drive to hunt, and it's not nearly as much as Brixton's drive to hunt, but nonetheless, she's got a good drive. And I honestly think when I look at this dog, I could put her in a hunt test as a senior hunter in the fall. That's just me kind of guesstimating where she's going to be at. Just look at her hunt. She's doing well. So she's covering her ground. Of course, it's light cover. She has that desire. Now she's chasing the leash. But she has that desire to seek. She's not, the expression is, she's not shining my shoes. In other words, she's got a desire to get out there and cover ground, and I'm just kind of letting her do that. And then we're going to let her get out there, and then I'm going to say, let's let her get out. I'll walk the opposite direction. Here, and I'll get down, and I'll just pet her up. Good girl, good girl. And what I'm going to do is I've got a loop leash, and I'm just going to put that loop leash on her. Good girl. She's never had a leash in her life. And I'm just going to let her drag it. So she's going to have fun with that leash. She's just going to get used to it. It's around her neck loosely. And look, she's just having fun with it. She's carrying it. And all I'm doing is just introducing her to that leash. And she loves it, right? This is what I want. Now, it's constraining her. She's got it wrapped around her back foot, and the fact that it's constraining her is not a bad thing. Okay, so she's going to learn, the more experience she gets with that leash, that's what a leash does, is a leash constrains her. Now, because she's doing great, and I can say, here, and she comes to me, then I'm going to take that leash off. I just gave her a basic introduction. Good girl. Now she's playing with it, and that's okay. I don't mind that. And I'm going to pick her up. And because she's doing great, put her back down. We're going to grab that dummy. So you notice that when I've said here twice, she has come in to me. And you'll notice also she's not rolling or piddling. So she's not rolling or piddling. She just comes to me. And this is just, again, good drive. You can see the drive in her. And we're going to throw the dummy. Now, the dummy's an extra temptation. The dogs want to possess something that you throw for them. So if she does poorly on this retrieve, you're going to see in a minute how I'm going to handle that. So anyway, let's give her a retrieve. What do you think? What do you think? And I always call their name. Izzy! So Izzy's going to go get it. I'm going to get down on my knees. Keep my head down. Izzy! Make some noise. Good girl. Good girl. And I don't take the dummy. Okay, she got close enough where I could reach out and kind of pull her in. I don't take the dummy. I say, good girl. Give. And that's all we're doing with Izzy today. So we're going to put Izzy up. Well, we'll do Izzy. I'll show you how we're going to do retrieve here in a minute with Izzy. But for field work, she's done. She's doing great. And you can just tell that this dog wants to please. If I were selling her to a lodge, I would tell the lodge she'll be ready to be a full-time hunter in the fall. Hands down. That's what I think about this dog. She's going to be a very nice dog. And if I were to sell her in the fall after giving her, let's say, getting her to senior hunter level, I would sell her for $4 or $5 grand. Okay, so here we have Brixton. And we're going to walk with Brixton. I'm not taking out the dummy because I know what Brixton will do with that dummy. She'd go get it. Look how much more ground she covers. I'm not screaming at her. I'm walking. And I'm not going to use the command here with her because I don't give a command that I suspect the dog would just ignore. So, because I suspect she would just ignore the here command, that means I'm in a position where I'm going to do something else. And what I'm going to do is, I've got the leash, and I'm just going to dangle that leash. What do you think? What do you think? So she came in for the leash, and all I'm going to do, okay, and I'm going to pick her up, kind of hug her, get her calmed down a bit. Good girl. And she's got that leash all tangled. And that's okay. I'm going to straighten out the leash. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. And now I'm going to do what we did with Izzy. And I'm just going to let her drag that leash. And she's going to have fun with it. Right? Hey, this is something new. It's a leash. I'm not going to ever take a young dog, because she's just 5 months old now. And she picked it up. Try and get her attention. I always clap. That report sound is always fun, you know, so pretty soon to get a dog's attention, I'm going to be shooting a blank gun. Right now, I'm just clapping. Okay, she's still dragging the leash. We're having fun. She's hunting. She's got that leash around her neck. And I'm not going to give any command. I'm just going to go over and I'll step on the leash. There you go. Good girl. I'll pick her up and we'll walk back to the truck and we'll go to our next phase. So the next phase on this is we're going to put both of these pups in a confined spot. And you're going to see what kind of spot I use to do a little bit of retrieving practice. The only thing I worry about is that they'll get in this spot and they'll take a dump and I'll have to clean it up. But other than that, I think this will work. It's what I've done with other pups. So let's see how it works out. And that'll, after, I'm kind of breathless now. After I get done with this little segment, I'll post this next little retrieving segment so you'll see what I'm going to do. So put her up. There you go. Kennel. And I just say kennel. Right now, I use that kennel command. They're not ready to obey it, but I do it every time after I've succeeded. Pretty soon they'll know what that means. All right, let's go to our next spot. So our next spot is a baseball dugout. And again, I'm just going to keep the camera rolling because this baseball dugout, I'm actually at a city park right now. I just got done running 2.5 miles, so I'm a bit breathless. So anyway, we're going to go over the baseball dugout. And we're going to have a confined area where we can work with both puppies. And the only problem with a baseball dugout is, you know, if your dog poops in there, you got to pick it up. out here when I'm in the wild or on the edge of the city, I don't have to worry about it, but you got to clean up after yourself. And so anyway, that's just a small matter. But the thing we're doing with the baseball dugout is the same thing you're doing with the hallway at your house. Is you're just putting that puppy in a position where they have to come back to you. And you will notice with Brixton that I don't use the command here. She's not ready for it. So instead, I'm just clapping and I'm encouraging her, and I might even call her name a little bit. But that's as much as I'm going to do with her. Izzy is far ahead of her as far as that here command, so I can use that command with her. Anyway, we'll see how this works out, and you'll see that as we're doing our retrieving training with each pup, I'm going to start clapping. Clapping is important because it gets those dogs used to the fun of the noise whenever you're doing your hunting. And there's a little sign here that says no animals except trained service animals, and I'm going to respect that. And there's another place where we can go that is a confined area, and that way I won't be violating local city ordinances, though I'd probably be okay. I'm going to respect that. And we're going to go over here to another area that is fenced, and we will see what we'll do. A few years back, oh, and they've taken down the fence. Okay, they've still got fencing on half of it. A few years back, I was training a lab for somebody, and the lab had the problem of running off with the object. And so the guy just couldn't get his dog to the point where this dog would come back to him, and so I came up here. And I used this little area here that's fenced in, kind of like I would use that dugout that we just drove by. So we'll do just like we did in the previous. You get your easy dog first, and then after you've gotten your easy dog out of the way, then go back and get that hard one. That's not saying that Brixton's a bad pup. She's, of the two hunting dogs, she's going to be the better hunting dog, I believe. She's just a little bit harder to handle at this stage. Good girl. And Izzy got out and immediately found that dummy, and she's just holding on to it. And I just love the fact that Izzy already knows that that dummy is something to be valued. So I always shut my tailgate with dogs, and that kind of keeps them a little bit quieter because they can't see what I'm doing. And then we're going to go into this area here, and I'll just put Izzy down. Okay? Let her run a bit, have fun, explore. It's fenced in, she can't go anywhere. This area is a bit too big, and it still might be a problem, but the advantage I have here is it's a brand new spot. What do you think, Izzy? Izzy! So I've got that dummy, and I'm going to walk the opposite direction because I know what Izzy's going to do. She's going to pick it up, and then I'm going to sit down here on this step, keep my head down, and here comes Izzy with that dummy. Perfect. So she brought it right to my lap, and I just say, good girl. And remember what I told you, you don't need to overwork with puppies. She's already made 2 fine retrieves, and that's all we're going to do with her today. She's done. And now we're going to do the same thing with Brixton. And I'm going to pick her up. I'm going to shut the tailgate because Izzy likes to whine a bit. And then I'm going to just let Brixton run. And Brixton is going to love this little area to run and have fun. Now we've already seen that Brixton will carry this dummy. We saw that last time I did a video a couple of weeks ago. So the issue is not her carrying the dummy. The issue is her bringing it in. Brixton! So I'm clapping, which I forgot to do with Izzy. And I'm giving Brixton my back. And I'm going to sit down. Oh, and she ran right into the fence. Okay, that's okay. She carried the dummy. You can see it right there. All the way back to me. But she didn't know the fence was there. And I think it scared her and she dropped the dummy. But that's okay. We're going to do it over again because I'm stubborn that way. I like to have one success in a training session. So we're not going to give up. We're going to do the exact same thing. Good job, Brixton. Yes, okay. And she's not stunned. She didn't know that fence was there, so she ran right into it and dropped the dummy. Brixton! So I've given her my back, keeping my head down. Oh, what a good girl! And she came right back in. Remember, I don't take the dummy. I just pet her up. I pet her up. And that's the best retrieve.